Alright guys, so I gotta be real careful with what I say. Really careful. So I should be like this guy right here. Like, yeah, the serial person. Other second word starts with a K, ends with an R. All the people society's scared of the most. Just like that. Now, if you've seen Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007, I think. So I think Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's second Halloween movie, or Halloween 2, I think it came out in 2009. The first Rob Zombie movie, well, the first Halloween movie by Rob Zombie is the one with the little kid in it. And Rob's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, plays Michael's mother. And that movie is from Michael's perspective. Whereas in the original one, the original Halloween, 1978, it's right there. I could just show you. Well, I guess I might as well just show y'all the whole gambit since I'm already over here. Including this one too. Um, okay. Actually, you know what? Should have got them all down up front. Is that really? Dear Lord. Well, alright. I'll give y'all a crash course. This is for the people that will mess around and find out, or you're sending your kids off places and you don't know what the hell's going on. So, and this is actually kind of proven 2 points. Just because you come from what I'm about to tell you doesn't automatically mean that because you watch horror movies that you're going to end up like the stuff that you watch in the horror movie. That's a lie. And I'm proof of that. Not saying it doesn't happen, because it does, but far and wide that's not the case. This is the original Halloween, 1978. Yeah, Halloween, a Rob Zombie film. It's that one. Sorry, yeah, right there. Rob Zombie film. That's the cover of it. That's Rob Zombie. Yeah, '07. Yep. And the second one, his second Halloween movie came out in '09. Yeah, I've got perfect memory, y'all. Halloween was inspired by Black Christmas, came out in like '74, right around that month. The Exorcist came out. Um, that was inspired by, I believe, by Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. Um, and Psycho uh, was inspired by Ed Gein, who was a serial person. Only had two victims, I believe. Um, I think it's supposed to be three, at least three within a certain amount of time or something like that. I don't know the exact. I'm not a a cop or nothing, or the FBI. I don't know exactly the exact way you get on that list. But this is actually uh, intended to give a as real and literal as possible summation of that is called hypervigilance, which usually goes hand in hand with PTSD or APTSD. I thought I had PTSD, but I have APTSD, which is like if we're all siblings and like our older sister's always like yelling at us from behind and then kicking us in our back, right? And we hurt real bad, right? Eventually we're going to start associating the yelling with like, okay, I'm going to flinch up because yelling already activates your survival instinct or something's wrong, your senses, and then you get then the kick. So anyway, now when you hear yelling, you're like, oh, I'm about to get kicked. So you hear the yelling first, you're tensed up, and now you just brace yourself for the kick, and then you get kicked. Um, that could be called regular PTSD. Whereas like if it goes from like yelling to kicking, and then you're on the ground, and then she's dragging you by your hair, or she punched you in the nuts, and then like she say, "Oh, that's it. That's all you're gonna get today, brother. You're lucky." And then like she wakes you up by throwing ice water in your face and like holding your nose, right? Now you're starting to get into acute post-traumatic stress disorder, which is that may not be medically accurate, but I'm just saying like acute is much more complicated than just like yelling or yelling and kicking. Uh, so yeah, I'm not paranoid or nothing. It's just like if you want to think about someone that's got PTSD, uh, every cat is hypervigilant, and well, you can't see hardly, but she would have looked back there. She's in the by the lamp, but you would have saw her jerk her head like that if you don't know much about cats or if you don't like cats, you never live with them. Anytime there's a sound, they'll hear just sooner than you, but they'll be just like how you are with your hypervigilance. Um, but that's an example of what, well, it is one example of what I was trying to help with this video. I'm trying to make this video not too long, but I'm probably going to say something to where I got to go back and remake this video, but hopefully this stays on YouTube, or hopefully I don't get my channel banned. I got to be really careful with what I say and how I say it. But just to be clear, I'm talking about myself, my real life. Uh, well, it's already on my Cash App and people know me, but my name is Justin Russell. And when I was little, my dad tried to, well, this last time would have been the last time, tried to remove me and my mom up out of here. I got my name changed to Malcolm Xavier. So yeah, I am Malcolm X. So the end of that movie always makes me laugh. Just because it's like y'all are saying that, but you're not. Like I really am. Justin Russell is my birth name, by the way. And then also mixing, I do that all the time. But I already do have a dark sense of humor, but it's the laugh now, cry later face, which now that I think about it, too many people get that. It's really insulting that people get that because people like me and billions or trillions of other people that have lived throughout the years or throughout the world that really do laugh now and cry later. Um, it's not necessarily the tattoo so much as it is that like people just hear that and they're like, yeah, my goldfish died. I'm a ha ha ha, my goldfish died, and I'll cry about it later. It's like no, me and my mom almost died. I'm not laughing at all. I'm crying now, and then I'm gonna cry later. You see what I mean? Speaking of my mom and being born, me being, yeah. So the tense that I'm talking about is literally before the age of like 10 and under. I want y'all to really understand what I just said. The age time frame I'm talking about with this is 10 years old and under, okay? The Lord's been, well, he ain't been getting on my nerves, but when you make videos like this, the reason that, if you want to know the main reason why people leave dumb comments, uh, this is a 100% serious video, and if anybody leaves a comment saying like, oh, it's not that serious, or oh, that's so funny, or that happened to me once, and it wasn't that big of a deal, or whatever. If any adult, any parent especially parents, says that there's anything funny about what I was doing, what was happening to me, what's the result been historically from people that turn out like Michael or any of the other ones, um, they just don't get it. They're not meant to get it. Um, so just ignore those people. But from a life and a death standpoint, this literally is as serious as it gets. I was gonna write down on this pen and pad a list. I might have to make. I'd probably have to make a part two if people want a part two. I happy to do it, but I was kind of intending this to be an AMA, which we can do. But the problem is the more stories I tell, the more people. If I do make a part two, say to a part 10, there's people are just going to keep asking questions, not in a bad way, but they'll keep asking questions to get. To me, the more questions you ask, and the more I can answer, the more I can help people, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this to help people. My channel isn't monetized. Um, I don't, separately, I have a GoFundMe and other stuff for serious health issues and things like that. But that's been my whole life. But the mental health stuff is, I was born with a lot of it. A lot of it was afflicted, and just all these other things. But the primary point, it's not about, like in any of my videos, I put like, hey, if you want to support my channel, there's the Cash App, the GoFundMe, da da da. I'm not worried about none of that with this. I'm just worried about helping people. I just wanted to mention that because somebody will see it in there, and I don't want to get the signals crossed with that. Um, but this video is not about a GoFundMe or my other health stuff or even my mental health stuff. Uh, I have a neuropsychologist, a psychologist, a therapist, a psychiatrist. I have a lot of this. I have a neurosurgeon. I have a neurologist. I have a lot of head people in my head helping me, medication, etc. Uh, but above all that, I got God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and that's why I wear Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'm just a messenger on behalf of the Lord Almighty. Um, Another thing I just wanted to say is that just in general, when it comes to horror movies, I've never known anybody in my life that watched any of my good friends or people I've known that have watched horror movies that were like serial people or were terrible people or did bad to people, regardless if they were Christian or not. I'm a devout Christian, but regardless of all that, I never met not one. Nicest people I ever met. So if you are a parent and let's just say your kid goes and sneaks and watch like Michael Myers or something, or like The Ring or something, I don't know, um, or even like Adam's Family or Casper. Some people are more extreme with other stuff. Um, if you can't take the time to ask questions and if you can't take the time to be a real parent, regardless of what your kid is watching, um, especially horror movies, then you really should start to ask yourself why are you a parent in the first place? Because too many people just want to be like, oh yeah, it's all Halloween's fault. It's Michael Myers' fault. It's Grand Theft Auto's fault. It's Rockstar's fault. It's Blizzard's fault. It's World of Warcraft's fault. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's your fault. It's just called being a parent. And what it is it's mirroring to where when you see your kid, you see a reflection of you. And most of y'all have kids only because out of selfishness, you just want like a little mini me running around. That's basically it. And then you want them to fulfill the dreams and wishes that you had that you couldn't fulfill either because you were lazy or whatever. On the easier side, you were lazy and you had opportunities. You just were lazy and you didn't capitalize. You didn't have nothing holding you back. On the back end, the bad end of it, you were had horrible circumstances. You never had a chance in hell. It was never going to happen. You knew it wasn't going to happen, but you tried everything you could anyway, and it didn't work out. And it's just like a broken, shattered glass dream situation. Um, like I wanted to play pro basketball, but I can't because I was born through much premature and I have deformities and this and that, and I'm a lot smaller than I should be. I got the talent for basketball, I just don't have the size. You see what I mean? Um, but my point is that because your kid is doing like say let's say you didn't like horror movies, right? Growing up, um, but your kid loves them, like they love like Casper, the Friendly Ghost, right? Or Scooby Doo, and you hate them so much, and you know Scooby Doo is a kid cartoon, just like Dora the Explorer, SpongeBob, but because when you were a kid you hated Scooby Doo, you know, you just can't stand the fact that your little mini me is defying your little copy and paste Clorox Office Max printer thing. It's not the little your little control copy and paste program that you created is not following the net code. It's not called following the C++. It's not following the programming. So now you got to go and try to like run some type of malware swipe on it and try to like reprogram it. When the way that you made the program, your child, the operating software they have operates on horror movies, or well, not sorry, operates on Scooby Doo, on Casper the Friendly Ghost, right? And it's exactly the same thing. It's like, oh well, our family drinks Coke, and your daughter loves Pepsi, and she knows that everybody in the family drinks Coke because you made it abundantly clear, but she loves Pepsi. She doesn't like Coke at all, and you can't stand that, so you resent her for that. Oh, it's the Lord dropping knowledge. Thank you, Lord. So actually, that right there, y'all, is what creates psycho people, socio people, serial people. That right there, because it's usually the resentment of the child is built up from the resentment from the parent from being deprived of something. Um, I've already been talking 20 minutes. I'm gonna try my best not to go on rants, but I'm trying to make this coherent. It's just extremely difficult because I could talk about this till the day I drop dead, which I'm happy to do, doing this to help people. But the Rob Zombie film, the first Halloween from 2007, that one shows the walkthrough of how everything bad happened, like everything's fine, and then it's not fine, and the bad stuff happens when Michael's younger, and then he gets older and how it perpetuates itself. Whereas the original Halloween, this one from 1978, it just shows, it doesn't show him at all except one scene in the whole, um, that series from like 78 to like, I know, say 99 or whatever. The Return of Michael Myers probably came, no, Halloween H2O came out in like 98, 99. I think it came out in 98. Um, I don't see the thing on it. I think it might have, yeah, it might have come in 2000. But anyway, somewhere around there. Um, you don't ever see Michael, except that one scene from like 78 to like say 99. So my point is, you have no context, you have no nothing. You're just like, oh, he's a psycho person, he's a serial person, he's a monster. Well, he didn't always used to be a monster. He used to be a little boy. Um, Now, granted, the first Halloween, you really from the first Halloween to H2O in like 99, 2000 range, you don't know nothing about nothing. So what the point? The reason this is so significant is because that's effectively like you go to the hospital to see your son or daughter. Now, let's say you're an aunt or an uncle, and something happens at school, and then uh, the mom and dad are like they're somewhere in a different state. So you're the next of kin. So you're the aunt and uncle. So you go see your niece, right? And she's in the psych ward, and she's just in there, and they're explaining to you what happened, and you're looking at her, and to you, you just remember the perfect little angel niece, and but you don't know nothing. It's like it almost seemed like it happened overnight. So what I mean is that like the parents would have had the build up and known what's going on, um, and had the full story, whereas the second party people being the aunt and the uncle, they don't know nothing. All they're just looking like, oh, well, can you give them this medication and make them better? Like, no, it's too late. You see what I mean? And this isn't about like, you know, marking people left and right. It's not even about that. It's about if it gets to the point of no return and someone does have the mindset of Michael or whatever, they could murk people, they could rob people, they could steal from people, they could lie to people, they could do all types of things. Like Bernie Madoff never murked anybody, but he effectively, um, financially, he did, but not physically. But the whole life savings is gone type thing. So um, there's many forms of it. It's not just about like removing somebody from living. Um, so everything I'm going to talk about is from the ages of 10 and under. Let's see. I guess I will have to do a part two because I'm not going to be able to remember everything right now. But okay. So these are all fake things I'm showing you, fake movies. But these type of people are, human serial people are real. This is spiritual warfare, demon possession, bad spirits, whatever you want to call it. Same thing with that. Demons. This right here is about, well, more so to the end of the movie, but just think about this like, don't go exploring abandoned buildings and places that you don't know what could be lurking there. This is about cursed objects, which is a very real thing. Oh, that's the other Halloween. That's the remake. I wasn't going to show y'all that, but it was already up there. Um, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is just like Michael, except he's got a learning disability like I do, but he's like basically nonverbal. So don't be going in the back. Don't go in places you don't know where the hell you're at, especially at night. Possession. This is specifically about demonic possession. This is about crazy neighbors. Don't ever underestimate any neighbor. Um, this is about there's something in the woods. That's Jason, Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees. This is about demons. Freddy Krueger's a dream demon. That's why I didn't mention him in the. He's not real. Demons are real, but Freddy Krueger ain't real. But that's why I didn't introduce and include him when I said the other. When I said Leatherface and Michael Myers. Jigsaw is very real. Those type of people. He's a serial person. Now he's actually Jigsaw. But wait, that's not Jigsaw right there. That's Billy the doll. That's Billy the doll right there, y'all. The creepy doll. Jigsaw is John Kramer, the white dude. Well, he's British, but he's white in the movies. Now this guy, Seven. If you want to know how, this is called a Angel of Mercy. Um, it's like they're doing God's work. Those people are very real. Annabelle, possession, cursed objects. Chucky is voodoo. Charles Lee Ray in the movie is a man. But Chucky the doll is just a good guy doll that he inhabits, transfers his spirit into the body of the doll. Scream, obviously Ghostface, those types of people are very real, just like Michael. It's the other Texas Chainsaw. That's the '03 version with Jessica Biel. That's the best one right there. PDF Files. It's Paul Walker's best movie. It's Vera Farmiga's in it. I'd highly recommend to go see it. Hereditary, Cults. If you want to know how a cult operates, you could check that out. That's in my top 5 scariest movies ever, though. The Hereditary, for sure. And you might think this is out of place, but it's definitely not. And this one right here is the worst of them all. My favorite comic book. What is this? Oh, The Others. Go check that out with Nicole Kidman. Don't even look it up, just watch it. It'll blow your mind. So we'll get into duality. Batman, the good side. Where is Heath at? Well, where is he? Can I really put this man way in the back? Yo, my mans don't even have his own page. Anyways, the Joker, obviously, the Joker. Right there. Now, if you look at him, everybody has a motive for what they do, but the Joker doesn't. Catwoman wants a new life. Bane is representing the League of Shadows. Ra's al Ghul wants to purify the population. Scarecrow just likes messing with people. And Two-Face wants to get revenge for Rachel. But the Jokers of the world, real evil, unstoppable evil, doesn't need a reason. It's just evil. And it makes perfect sense that Batman's my favorite character. And I play a paladin in World of Warcraft. I played a paladin in Diablo 2, Diablo 2 expansion set, which are like the light warriors, pretty much like a warrior, but they can use light powers and stuff, and they're supposed to help the righteous and They can resurrect people and they can cleanse people of being having diseases and whatever, all those types of things. They can put shields on people to protect them. So it's kind of like coming full circle in every aspect. Um, I am bipolar one, which is like the ups and downs. Hulk Hogan on top of the world, hulking up, and then like the end of the world lows. I was kind of just in that little flux state for a little bit earlier, and I had to defuse a little bit before I got on here. Um, but I want to make the video before I forget. So that's just some, because the problem with this stuff is like most people ain't really listening, and this is like I know doctors and all that are great and stuff, but to be honest, if if we in a fight and you uppercut me and you knock all my if you knock me out and I got like a brain bleed, right? Let's just say you a big old heifer woman, like a heifer from Rocco's Modern Life. You a 400-pound hussy, just hussy from like you're just hussing, and you knock me out, right? And I got a brain bleed. Well, yeah, you're at the ER waiting to get the call, and the EMT can come get me, and then you can save my life with the surgery, and let's say you do, but then the damage was already done when it happened, right? So you're getting to it after the fact, and then I have like, let's say I'm imbalanced permanently on the right side of my body, right? Like I'm always having to use like walkers or something, right? So my point in saying that is that by the time that you see that these people need help, the little ones, the damage has already been done. You see what I mean? So literally, especially when it comes to mental, and I'm only talking about mental health. The physical stuff you can set bones and heal and this and that. And even if you don't or somebody dies, then you tried. If they die, they die. Like you can't save everybody from physical stuff. But at least if somebody like gets crushed to death in a car, like that's almost happened to me. I try to use real examples. Uh, if they would have made every attempt to save me, um, I wouldn't be mad that I died personally because it's like I know y'all did what you can do, and a negligent driver smashed into me and almost killed both of us, and you did your best, so you can't be mad that you did your best when it comes to something physical. But when it's mental, if you catch it early enough, even if there's a certain amount of damage done, if you can stop the damage from happening, a lot of us can and will turn around, and they do better. Uh, I had 5 attempts in 2015, and that wasn't even my rock bottom or nothing. That was just another day. Because at a certain point, this stuff starts running together. It's the same way we think, oh, I rescued 5 cats today. And it's like, oh, well, I robbed 5 people today. It's just another day for these people. Either way, the good side and the bad side is literally just another day, y'all. So if there's bad people that are mad at us for being good, as we are, and they just can't believe that we would go and help somebody, that's the same reaction we have when we say, well, that we're mad at them because they didn't help somebody. These people are not like us. You understand? But most of y'all ain't really seen real evil. You've seen it in movies, but you ain't seen it for real. And people like me have seen it for real in multiple ways. Um, so anyway, I'm probably going to have to cut this video short because I don't want to ramble for too long. I guess I'll just do this as a trial run and see how it does. I kind of made the point I wanted to make mostly. Um, but all the worst stories you can see online on the Reddit stories and stuff, I've been through all that stuff. Um, the only thing I haven't done is I haven't removed an animal or a person from Earth. That doesn't mean attempts weren't made, per se, allegedly, hypothetically. Don't worry about the animals, they're fine. Well, I make it sound, see what I mean? I minimalize things like, because it's normal to me. But now, remember, I'm talking about when I was under 10, okay? I'm not talking right now. That's another thing I can understand. It's like, well, you say it, but you don't know the context of the age. Because what I'm talking about is the build up for how these people get formed. And then by the time they're formed, 14, 15, 16, whatever, it's too late. So, because all they knew was hate, right? Or the devil, whatever, however you want to think of it. The devil, evil, hate, whatever the case. Um, the caveat being, well, the caveat on top of that, or the latter of the two, rather, maybe. I have 10 plus, probably 15 plus mental health issues, major issues, and I wasn't medicated for anything. And then when my mom would try to take me to get medicated, I would run out of all the doctor's offices. I just go into a psychotic mental, and I do mean psychotic mental, like inconsolable, incontrollable, like you're 5 years old and you got the strength of like the world's strongest man type thing, and you're a little body self. So yeah, I don't really want to keep talking for too much. It'd really be better if you just ask questions, because whatever question you can ask, I can answer. But I just want to see if this video is taken down. I don't know if it will or not. Um, but just like the video and share it, because I do want people to see it. I guess I'll just make this a part one. I'll just name it. I should be a cereal, and then I'll put a K, and then the number one, and then the other part, and then I'll put Ask Me Anything, and I'll put Serious NSFW, like 18 plus adults only, whatever, something like that. Uh, but just to kind of end the video on this information, I saw Terminator when I was like between 2 and 4. I was probably closer to 2 or 3, 2 or 3, yeah. But I didn't attempt to. I burned the house down. Just another day. Um, but well, I don't want to give too many details because I want y'all to understand the context. Because when I say something like that, and you're like, "What do you mean?" and you're minimalizing it, then I explain it. You're like, "Oh," but you got to remember the age. Okay. Well, actually, no. Let me backtrack. I was a pyromaniac. That's a very, 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 very bad sign. That's actually probably the worst one. Um, so I was a pyromaniac after watching Terminator, the first one, and then with John Connor's dad in it. Then I burned the house down. Pushed my cousin down. One of my favorite cousins. I pushed him down the steps of like it was like 20 steps, and they're like real deep, like on the third floor in the attic room. And I pushed him down the steps. Uh, I don't know how he's alive. I just saw him for Christmas dinner. I don't know how he's alive. Thank God he is. But anyway. Um, I had this friend that loved the German mustache dude, the Nzs people. And he loved saying the N word all the time. And Lord knows he had ADHD like a mug. God bless him. And then he would do the salute, and then he would say like, "I love N words," and he was like, "Yeah." Man, never had shoes on, had a shirt off. That was my dude though. Thomas Kimberger, man, shout out to you, dog. He needed medication, This is way before mental health medicine for kids was really even a thing like that. Uh, if you're not old enough, a lot of this you young people just won't understand, so don't even worry about it. It doesn't apply to you because you're just not going to understand. Uh, but anyway, me and him would. He's like, "Do you want to go and throw some rocks?" I said, "Sure." And I went back there some years ago and looked at it where I grew up at, but it's changed now. But it used to be like a wall, and then you can like go over it or through it or whatever. and you could see the overpass, and we would just pick up rocks and throw them at cars. It's just another day. I'm gonna keep saying just another day so y'all understand how easy that you get used to certain things, and then you understand what it's a learned behavior. Um, One of my best friends, was a fatter white kid named Freckles, kind of nerdy. Jason Snyder lived with his dad, and his grandma lived up there, and his grandma was sick, and then I would never get to see grandma that much because she was always sick, and we weren't to bother her. But I saw her a little bit and stuff. She wasn't on hospice or nothing, but she was like old and not in the best shape. Um, but Jason lived in the basement, and his dad was a truck driver. He drove for Swift trucks, I believe. It was an orange and teal, grayish looking one. Um, I believe it was Swift, if I'm not mistaken. And I was hanging out with Jason all day, and then oh, he had a boxer too, yeah. And I was hanging out with him, and I never thought about this since I was a kid. See, that's the thing with repressed memories when you have really bad ones mixed with good ones. Um, you don't even you really I just didn't realize that I do it, but you don't ever think about the good ones. You only dwell on the bad ones. It's a really weird dichotomy. But when I would go down to his room, the dog would be at the door like losing her mind, and I didn't realize that boxers had crack adherence like tuxedo cats do. My cat named Joker's tuxedo. But anyway, he was like, "Hey, help me clean up my room," and he made all the mess. I didn't want to help him, and he kept harassing me, and so I exploded instantly. And on wrestling, when Stone Cold throws him in the ropes and he jumps over top of him, it's called a Luthez press, and he jumps like over him like that, and he's hitting him like with the haymakers and they're on the ground on the mat, and the opponent's back is on the mat, and Stone Cold's above him. I did that to him, and broke his nose and his face pretty bad, and I was only like 6. Uh, but that's what I was used to seeing with my mom and my dad. But then also I was bipolar. But then also as hypervigilance and this and that, and then you're yelling. So the bipolar is just going to amp, like, if the damage I was doing would have been like Goku and Vegeta with black hair. But when you have bipolar, it's like you instantly turn Super Saiyan. So it took Goku, I don't know, 20 years or something to turn Super Saiyan, and I did it instantly, like Gohan or like Trunks. You see what I mean? So what I mean is that that's not normal to have that type of reaction when it comes to violence. Um, but when you're bipolar, like Matt Barnes says, sometimes, or no, he said violence isn't the answer, but sometimes it is. Well, when you combine hypervigilance with PTSD or APTSD or that type of thing, plus bipolar, violence is the answer. Um, when you're not medicated and you don't know you have it, like you pretty much, you literally don't know your own strength, but not in a good way. It's just something you can't control. Which is why no matter, I don't care how normal you think your kid is, get your kid tested as soon as they can get tested for everything, like bipolar, auditory, visual hallucinations, schizophrenia, especially bipolar and schizophrenia, um, all those things. Because undiagnosed bipolar and schizophrenia, when I read the Reddit stories, the number one thing I hear is number one is bipolar. They took out their whole family. They did this to the little one, their own child, or they lost their mind, or they always seem troubled, or they can never do this or that. And now the person's like 30 years old and then just find out they got bipolar and they wonder why all this craziness is going on. It's kind of like you got diabetes and you don't know and you're always drinking Pepsis and you wonder why you're always sick. Well, if you knew you had the diabetes, you wouldn't be drinking all the sodas, would you? You know, you don't know what you don't know. But sadly, a lot of people that do these things don't ever, if they do get treated for it way after the fact. They're already like doing life or something or whatever. Took their own life or someone took their life, whatever. Um, what else? I was in my room with my mom, and I thought, see, I kept telling myself she had a seizure, but she actually OD'd, like right in front of me. Like, we were like this far apart, and she just locked up, and her eyes rolled in the back of her head, and she fell back. And it happened so quick. I don't remember. I don't. I think I tried to catch her, but I couldn't. And um, I don't remember her falling. Actually, I just remember her being. The only thing that comes to my mind is her being on her back seizing. But no, she was definitely standing in front of me, and she either was sitting down and fell back. I'm pretty sure she was standing up and fell back because I remember I believe I tried to catch her, but I definitely 100% remember that she was ODing on. I thought she was having seizures, but she wasn't. She OD'd because she was foaming at the mouth, she was convulsing uncontrollably, and then but that happened all the time. Um, but the difference is normally when she would OD, she would just like kind of like it kind of looked like she was just blacking out, like falling asleep, standing up, and she just like fell back. But this was a particularly bad one because she would be drinking all the time and then pills and stuff like that, and so eventually that's going to happen because your body's just going to like get overloaded. Um, um, Tried to climb the line exhibit when I was like 4 after I saw The Lion King, and my feet were vertical, so my head was looking down on the concrete at the bottom of the enclosure, which is like a 60-foot drop, and my feet were in the air. So here's my head right here, and my feet were like this. So I was pretty much going like that, and I was about like right here, and as I was about to slide down, like seconds away from sliding down, my auntie Missy caught me by my ankle at the last second. Sometimes you have such crazy stuff happen, you got to ask older family members or friends. And you're like, do you remember this time and this happened? Like, yeah. So I asked my auntie Letha. She's like, yeah, you're a little badass. You trying to pet them damn lions, pet Mufasa. She had to catch her crazy ass. Just another day. Um, I can go on and on. It kind of all just starts running together. It's kind of all the same I mean, to me, it's all the same. It's just another bad thing. Some good things, but mostly bad things. But the bad thing is just like, oh, it's just another thing. So I'm alive. That's all that matters. That's just kind of you just kind of go into survival mode. So it's just like, well, if I'm alive, then okay. I just hope it's not worse tomorrow, or I hope I live tomorrow. You know. Uh, and just so you know, I'm not lying when I say I love lions. You can see right there. Just so you know, I'm not making that up. And I got court records, medical records, death certificates, blah blah blah, obituaries. But I'm not really, I'm not concerned at all about people that ain't really trying to listen. I'm trying to. This is strictly for people that actually give a damn about other human beings and want to help prevent some of these things, preferably all of these things. And because it's about the little ones at the end of the day. And especially if you're a parent, that's what, you say that's what your job is, but you don't be doing it. But then you want to act like, handing the responsibility off to another person just because they're a doctor or a teacher or what the hell ever is actually what really needs to be done. When what really needs to be done is before you took them to the site doctor or to the ER or whatever the heck, way before that, you should have been a parent before you had the child. Before they were even conceived, you should be like, you know what? I'm gonna have this child and I'm gonna protect them, and whatever happens, no matter if they turn out bad or good, or if I like how they turned out, or they're a good reflection of me, or if they're everything I wanted them to be, I'm still gonna do the right thing and give them the best opportunity so they don't end up like Michael Myers. But most of y'all parents don't give a fuck. You say you do, but you don't. And then y'all really got some fucking nerve when you're like, oh, I wish I could have done something, and they remove themselves up out of here. You're a fucking hypocrite. Because you really could have done something when you had the first inkling, when God gave you the discernment. You'd be like, you know what, something ain't right with my child. Let me get in there and let's talk about it. But nah, y'all only want to care when they're already up out of here, and then, but guess what? By then it's too late. And that's how I talk, because it's real like that. I'll just end the video with this. If you made it this far, you can follow my pages and all that, and yada yada. But I'll just make this as a part one. Whatever questions you have on this video I did, assuming it doesn't get taken down. I hope it doesn't. If it does, I'm gonna have to redo this for YouTube. Then I have to put a separate one. I'll put this one on my Patreon. But anyway, leave a comment about anything you want to ask me on this one that I talked about, or if you have anything in general. And then if there's a particular thing you want me to cover in a part two, just let me know. Um, and the whole point of this is to tell people the process of why I didn't turn out like Michael Myers. And if you go to the thing like the warning signs of a serial person and you look it up, I have every single one that's on there applies to me, except for the ones that I said that doesn't. Um, but the point is just because they didn't doesn't mean that they couldn't have. They just didn't, is what I mean, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a happenstance thing. But I was on my way to graduating serial person university at the under the age of 10. It's only because of Jesus that I didn't, and that's real. Uh, you can buy your kid an iPhone and let them get on TikTok and swipe left and right for them to see a bunch of stuff that ain't gonna do anything for them. But yet you can't, kiss them and hug them and adore them and let them know that you do anything for them. That's all you hypocritical parents out there with behavior that's abhorrent. That's all it is, man. Because trust me, I promise you, there's gonna be some of y'all that see this and be like, oh, I need to, my nephew, my niece just turned 20, or my little one is 8 or 9, and he's up here talking about this and this, and or he said he did that at that age, and they're doing this, and let me go, yeah, y'all need to get on it. You've been done, need to get on it. But that's the video. I'm gonna get this uploaded. Let me know what y'all think, and I'm out.